Hi there, Jean Greer here at Stylish Fireplaces. Today I want to introduce you to Amantee's Symmetry Extra-Tall fireplace. So the Extra-Tall is part of Amantee's Symmetry series, which is their latest line of linear electric fireplaces that can go into the wall. Amantii is really the only manufacturer right now that's getting into an extra tall window. So where the focus has been with linear fireplaces to be extremely low profile with maybe a 13 or so inch window, Amantii has introduced these extra tall series in several of their lines, and they are a really impressive way to still get that linear effect, but with a little more of a traditional element inside. And I'll show you what I mean by that as we talk about the media that you can put inside. So where a normal symmetry window would be about 13 and a bit inches tall, this window is almost 18 inches tall, so a full 5 inches taller than a regular symmetry. That also makes this unit a little bit deeper as well. So the combination of having that extra tall window is not available in that normal 6-inch depth that a symmetry would be. But if you're looking for a traditional element to your linear fireplace, it might be worth the extra depth in order to have the extra height as well. And with that extra height and extra depth, you'll see that the materials inside can actually mimic real logs. So this is one of the log sets that is available from Amantii, one of their designer media kits. And this fireplace includes one of their selections. So in this case, we use the birch, but there's a rustic and a driftwood as well. And what we can also do with this, because there's enough space inside here and enough height, we could put real logs in there. So let's say you've got birch logs that you've collected at the cottage or in your own backyard, and you really want to put those inside, you can do that. Of course, with electric, there's no combustion in here, so those flames aren't going to burn the materials that you put inside. So whether you're using the man-made logs or real logs, you can have this full-size wood inside the unit mixed with the stones and other materials that come with the design kit that Amantii gives you. So that's one of the big appeals for the extra tall series with our clients. They really like the idea of being able to put real wood or something that mimics the size of real logs inside these units, and these have the space to do that. So not something you could do with a regular 6-inch deep unit. You really need the extra depth here, but also the extra height to make these look appropriate inside the fireplace. This fireplace, the extra tall series, starts at 34 inches wide, then 42, 50, 60, 74, 88, and 100. So if you can imagine this extra tall window in 88 or 100 inches, imagine the spectacle that would create. It's a real wow to have those sizes with this extra tall window. The other thing I like about the extra tall window is so many people are putting a fireplace below the TV. Like it or not, that's what happens in a lot of the rooms that these fireplaces go into. And it's usually just a fact of life that the focal wall in a room, there's only one focal wall, there's only one way to arrange the furniture. If I want a fireplace and a TV, they both need to be on that wall. And when I'm doing that, if this extra tall window is available and I can help to balance out the height of a TV screen with the fireplace below, I think this is a really nice way to go, especially as the TVs get bigger. As I've said before, as these linear fireplaces get wider, they do not get taller. But as TVs get wider, they do get taller because, of course, TV measurements are done on the diagonal. So as it gets wider, it's getting taller. I think that's where this extra tall window can really be a benefit in a feature wall, is sitting below those really big TVs. So the features on this Amantii Symmetry are very similar to the regular Symmetry, other than the dimensions, obviously. We have a flame at the back. You have 2 flame patterns here that you see inside, that you can have the fire and ice flame, which is Amantee's signature flame, and then they have this newer flame, which is in the model I have here, that you can choose which way you want your flames to look. I particularly like their newer flame. I think it looks much more like a real flame, but many people who are used to the Amantii Fire and Ice really prefer that display, which covers more of the background of the fireplace than this flame pattern. But I really like the realism of this one. The flames change color, as in all Amantii models, so orange, yellow, blue, and as you combine those, you get the magentas and the purples. The ember bed changes color with the flame with Amantii Symmetry. And then there's an extra set of ambient lights that come down and highlight the materials inside. So you can kind of see them in my shot here. There's a row of ambient lights there that I can change the color. So of course you also have a heat function. And what's nice about the Symmetry series is one of the reasons they've incorporated this wider frame around their unit is they've been able to do that and embed the heat vent up into the frame. So there really is a very clean front on these fireplaces. There's a discrete touch panel up here in case I lose the remote. And if the heater is on, it's going to wash the heat down over the glass and into the room, and the blower of course would be on at that point. You can choose temperature settings, or you can have no heat and just have the flame, as all electric fireplaces do. I'm going to step out of the frame and let you see some of the color options on the flames, as well as the downlighting that's hitting these logs. And you really do notice the color changes with the birch logs because of their light color. So let me show you how those can be changed. So as you can see, you've got lots of options here. You can have a very realistic looking flame, as we started out with the orange and the yellow combination, and a warmer light hitting the logs below. Or you can change it to something a little more maybe summer seasonal if you don't want to feel that hot flamey fire effect in the warmer weather. You could certainly set it to something like this using what I call the disco lights, and you get a real variety there, or change it to colors that particularly suit your decor. And obviously if the logs are not the birch, if it's something else that's more appropriate for your room, you'll get a different effect again. So again, this is Amantii Symmetry Extra-Tall, XT, and you'll find that at stylishfireplaces.ca under Amantii Symmetry XT, or where we have gathered our linear in-wall fireplaces. Amantii Symmetry Extra-Tall at stylishfireplaces.ca.